Hey Rooftop, this is Pastor Smat with yet another Smattering. We've been doing some online teaching the past few months for you guys who are stuck at home during the coronavirus to help you stay connected, give you some things to think about. Now I hate to do this to you, but I have yet another book to tell you about. I'm really into the founding fathers lately, and I just finished an exceptional biography about Benjamin Franklin, An American Life by historian Walter Isaacson. Now, you might know Franklin as the face of the $100 bill, all those $100 bills that I'm sure you have in your wallet. But Franklin was wildly productive in his 84 years. He was a successful businessman and publisher. He invented the lightning rod. He was our first postmaster. He wrote Poor Richard's Almanac. He helped write the Declaration of Independence, was one of America's most successful diplomats. But one of the things I actually didn't know about Benjamin Franklin was that he saved America. After we achieved our independence in the Revolutionary War, Americans couldn't figure out how to hold themselves together. There were too many conflicts about how to operate as a nation. So the states called a constitutional convention to write a document, known as the Constitution, to unify us as a people. But the convention actually started out as a disaster. There were too many disagreements on representation, finances, slavery, the presidency. The convention was about to shut down. The nation would have surely broken apart and America would have died in infancy. Then, 80-year-old Benjamin Franklin stood up. He was 40 years older than the average age of everybody else there. He might have been the most famous and respected American. And to this great convocation, Franklin said two things. First, he said, we should pray. He said that without the Creator's concurring aid, quote, we shall be divided by our little partial local interests and become a reproach and byword down to future ages. Now, Franklin was by no means a Christian, but he knew when he needed divine help. And after they prayed, he got up and said a second thing. He said, now we have to compromise. There is no way everyone here is going to get what they want. Just like a carpenter has to shave off a little bit from both planks to make a good joint, both sides present have to temper their demands if our nation is going to have a shot. Now, Franklin's wisdom unified the conventioneers, and then he proposed the bicameral legislature for the House and for the Senate, which was something the convention could finally get behind. The Constitution got written, ratified, holds up today. Benjamin Franklin saved America. How we need Benjamin Franklin today. Our nation is boiling over with conflict, racial conflict, political conflict. Not even baseball owners and players can get along about who should get how many millions of dollars. What's worse, many of our political leaders today are stoking the conflict for their own political purposes. They're making it worse. It's like they don't even want us to get along. It's like we don't even want to get along anymore. But it's not just the world. Churches are boiling over with conflict. Our church, Rooftop Church, is simmering with conflict over the best way to, for example, handle the coronavirus. I've met with people over the past couple weeks who say we're taking the threat of this virus way too seriously. I've met with people over the past few weeks who say we're not taking it nearly seriously enough. I've also met with rooftoppers who say we're getting too involved in politics by supporting certain aspects of the Black Lives Matter movement. I've also met with rooftoppers who think we need to get more involved. How I wish we had Ben Franklin. I wish we had someone who could slow us down, lead us in prayer, help us take a breath, and help us find creative compromises that might hold us together. Now, of course, we who are Christians have someone who can do that. Someone better than Franklin. We have the Spirit of Jesus. Ben Franklin, dead and gone. Spirit of Christ, alive and well. Even now, the Spirit of Jesus is working in our lives, in our churches, to help us learn and listen to each other, if we're up for that. He's working to help us lead through this together. And more than Poor Richard's Almanac, we have the living Word of God. We have the words of Jesus, who taught us to be humble servants, who submit to one another in love. We have the wisdom of Paul in Romans 14, telling us to make compromise where we can in the name of love and unity, even if we think we're right and we know they're wrong. Honestly, not all Christians are as concerned about unity as they are their own agenda. Not all Americans are as concerned about unity either. And I do understand that some issues are too important to compromise on, like racism or the gospel. We can't compromise on those things. But how will we know unless we don't pause, take a breath, pray for wisdom, and try to work something out. If we don't at least try, future generations might not look well on us. Worse yet, God might not either. So whether you're listening as an American, as a Christian, we can meet in the middle. We can get through this together if we listen to the man who saved America, and if we listen to the guy who can save our souls. That's your smattering for the week. See you here in the building or online on Sunday at rooftop.org TV. We've got 4 services with social distancing, 8:30, 10 o'clock, 11:30, and a 4 o'clock mask-required service. All the details are online. This is Pastor Smat at Rooftop Church, smiting out.